And since I retired, my husband died, and I sold our business, and gosh, it seemed like a traffic jam. I mean, no matter which way I turned, there was heavy traffic and I couldn't get through it. And so I started asking myself, what quality of life did I really want? What was I looking for? And it was hard. So I'd like to address that issue from a professional and personal viewpoint to see if some of this helps you. So as I got thinking, and as a nurse, I thought, well, I want to be free of chronic disease, right? None of us wants chronic disease. Let's get rid of that. Free of achiness. Do you ache and hurt every time you get up? Lord Almighty, I want that to go. And that's my little dog, Spring, there, but you can see I was a mess. So I started looking around to find out what I could find on the internet. And I searched and searched, and it was like finding a 4-leaf clover. Oh, I never gonna find one. And I almost gave up. I talked to my, I talked to my personal physicians, and what did they say? Oh, you know, you're getting old. You're 80 some odd years old, 83 years old now, and it's in your family's genes. Didn't your father die of a heart attack? And chronic disease is normal for old people. It's normal. So I didn't give in to that, though. I started to talk to my colleagues, people that were not responsible for my care, and those people started sending me down a different road. I watched documentaries on YouTube. I bought documentaries, I bought books, I put some of the recipe books out around here, and started looking around for information. Found that Cornell University was teaching a course on plant-based nutrition, and I took that and I became certified, and I can't believe all I learned. So the first thing that I just jump into, and please ask me questions you can ask as we go along, it's okay. But what started all this? Does anybody know what started all this plant-based business? I didn't. China, in the 70s, in China, in fact from 73 to 75, the emperor of China had cancer. And he didn't like the idea at all.
China study.
So at least what he was going to do was gather some data to look at China. China was with him, Cornell University and Oxford University all joined together, and they did a study to look at what the lifestyle was and what people were eating who didn't have cancer. And they found that the people that well, anyway, they found there was a connection between animal protein and cancer, and dairy and eggs. And they continued with this up into the 80s. And their final conclusion was that anyone eating animal products as a source of nutrition, including beef, pork, poultry, fish, eggs, cheese, milk, all the good stuff, right? And reducing their intake of processed food and refined carbohydrates will escape, reduce, or reverse the development of numerous diseases, cancer being one of them. They wrote that eating foods that contain any cholesterol above 0 milligrams is unhealthy. Don't you remember? I remember when they told us, yes, we could eat eggs. They told us we could eat cholesterol. Dietary cholesterol wasn't the cause. Well, all that was media, and all that was making money. This China study, which is a very famous study, and if you're interested in studies and how it was conducted, and it's not real scientific, but it does give you some information. The China study is the name of the book. And the authors were critical of reductionist approaches to the study of nutrition. In other words, what do? We break it down into protein, carbohydrates, what else? Protein, carbohydrates, starches, fat, that's right. And I still see that today, and I think that has long been proven wrong. But, well, do you remember when Oprah got sued because she said she wasn't ever going to eat a hamburger again after she read that study? On TV she said that, and the beef industry sued her 11 times.
Wow.
11 times, and the people that were on this study and the people that have written these books, these physicians, testified for her, and she won every single case. So genes, we were talking about genes earlier. Genes do not determine disease on their own. I forget who that was, but Brad Pitt's wife, remember she had her breasts removed so she wouldn't get cancer? So one thing I learned from that study was that what we eat triggers the gene, makes it start up, makes it spread, or makes it, let's see, start up. I guess you have to trigger it, then you have to grow it, and then you have to spread it. But it's what you eat that triggers that gene or suppresses it.
If you already have a small amount of cancer and don't know it,
It will reduce it. Yeah, it can reduce it. Yeah, a lot of studies showing that. In fact, this lifestyle, Medicare, Medicaid, and most insurances pay for it.
That's right.
So you gotta think that Medicare knows something they're talking about if they're gonna pay for this lifestyle. When I went down and had my heart surgery, the first thing they wanted to do when I was discharged was put me into a whole food, plant-based program, and my insurance was gonna pay for it. Now, I wasn't gonna drive back and forth to Little Rock. That's enough one time down
what is
there.
it called, the China what?
Uh,
The China what?
China
Study.
Yeah, China study. And I always thought that if I had genes and my father dropped dead of a heart attack, so was I. But that isn't true, not true at all. So, what am I talking about really here? Am I talking about, what are some words that we know? Vegetarian, vegan, whole foods, plant-based? Is there a name to this? Well, there wasn't a name to this. It was not vegetarian, because vegetarians eat a lot of dairy and a lot of milk. And in fact, they found that the milk whey, the milk protein, caused liver cancer in children, that they were trying to increase their nutrition, make them more nourished, give them a nourishing diet, and they were feeding them in their things milk and added whey, and those kids got liver cancer. So it's not called vegan, because vegan can be terrible. You can get vegan donuts. You can't tell me they're good for you. So all the sugar, all the oil, and all the salt is reduced in that diet. And it's whole food, in other words, not ultra processed, doesn't run through a machine and comes out as some little crinkly chip. And it's the whole food. If you open my refrigerator, you'll find carrots and broccoli and cauliflower and whole food.
For breakfast.
This morning for breakfast, I had oatmeal. I make steel ground and steel cut oats in the morning. One morning or 2 mornings a week, because it's in the refrigerator. This morning I already had some in the refrigerator, so I just took it out, put it in the microwave. I added, after it was heated up, because I like it hot, some people eat it cold. I added some strawberries, and I added some blueberries, and I already had raisins in it. Carlos likes the oatmeal, so I had to add a little extra. And this morning, for some reason, I wanted something green, and I actually added some green salad in it. cut it up. And it was that little crunch, you know, it was really good. I'm not gonna fix recipes. I'm not gonna spend 3 or 4 hours in the kitchen and then have a pile of dishes. Not gonna do all that. I tried doing all that, thinking that I could change into a cook. I'm not a cook, never going to be, but I can feed myself, and I can feed myself well. So let's see where we're going from there. And when I heard this originally, I thought, are you kidding me? I'm not gonna do that. My husband's family were vegetarians for really.
That we're drinking today is full of hormones, antibiotics. There's pus in milk. There's blood in there. There's a lot of stuff that is unnatural. And so what we're going to show you today is that you don't need milk. And at the Tree of Life, we'll show you that. We don't use anything with dairy. Side of kiwi. One kiwi has, actually there's more vitamin C in kiwi than an orange, right? You can have avocados. There's natural occurring zinc found in avocados. All of these vitamins that you go and you purchase at the store, guess what? They originate from the foods and the plants that we can find in nature. Okay, so I just wanted to interject. There's a lot more that you can do for breakfast, trust me. We have a variety of things that you can do.
And the sandwiches, I thought I couldn't have sandwiches, but I can. I can make salads.
This is a process that we all had to learn, so I'm not saying anything here to be punitive. Everything that is being said on an educational basis, right? So let's think of it this way. I'm going to ask you a counter question, and I'm just going to make you think. Where does the cow get its proteins from?
The grass.
All right. So protein naturally occurs. It comes from plants. It comes from plants. There's actually more protein in a piece of broccoli than a piece of steak. Everything that you can have from your beans, your lentils, let's say tofu, which is made from soybeans, chickpeas, right? All of these things have naturally occurring proteins from. So just like the cow gets the proteins, the cow does not eat meat. Right?
Not supposed to, but they've been sneaking it in their food.
Well, that's unfortunate. That's a whole nother class. But the cows, naturally, they feed off the grass. The horses, right? Even the horses that you see running these, very strenuous runs over at the Kentucky Derby. Those horses are fed. Of course, they're giving some, minerals and other things of that sort, but they're fed. They eat grass naturally. So when you eat your proteins from the plants, you get it firsthand. When you eat it from an animal product, you get it secondhand. So you can either have firsthand or secondhand. All right? Protein is not an issue. I mean, we've been doing this, all of our children are raised on this diet. There's never an issue. You can find actually plenty of proteins, and and even for proteins, it's not even required. It's not a lot of protein that's required.
No, in fact,
I don't know the number right because I have it in my head.
I don't either, but it's much less
than what we think.
than what we recommend. And of course, a lot of that's been done by the beef industry,
Right.
and increasing it. In fact, protein is not a problem. We have been brainwashed, led to believe. We've been
Protein
wrong.
was your number one, and then your calcium because you're not drinking milk. I don't drink
Well-
milk, and I don't eat meat
Well-
that often either. If I eat meat, I buy it out, like a restaurant or in a salad, but not to bring it home and cook it.
I'm glad you mentioned calcium because that was in my mind
That
as
was
well.
the other one.
There's actually more calcium in
And
almonds
broccoli. Oh yeah,
than there is in whole milk.
yeah.
And actually, new studies are showing that calcium from the milk depletes the calcium in the bones.
And
Okay.
adds estrogen.
Right, and then there's a lot to do. There's a lot
breast
of
cancer.
yeah, and there's much to do about calcium too, because if you really study the bones, you'll see that the bones are really not. A lot of it is what the media is doing to sell things, right? Your calcium comes naturally from, again, your nuts. All right, we're going to talk about in our recipes. You're going to find that there's a lot of calcium in mangoes. Actually, you're going to find out there's a lot of calcium in a lot of other natural things that we eat, and so the dairy business, the milk, they're doing they do a good job that we're drinking today is full of hormones, antibiotics. There's pus in milk. There's blood in there. There's a lot of stuff that is unnatural. And so what we're going to show you today is that you don't need milk. And at the Tree of Life, we'll show you that. We don't use anything with dairy.
And I want to stop you for just a minute. I don't want to keep them here too long.
Right. Can you see here? So what we're going to use is we're going to make a simple mango ice cream. Okay? We're going to use some good mangoes, and we're going to use, we're not going to use sugar. We're going to use a substitute called xylitol. It's kind of like stevia. You guys heard of stevia? Mm-hmm. Xylitol is naturally occurring. It is naturally gluten-free. It comes from the birch tree. It's very low on the glycemic index. So for those who are diabetic, this is a good sugar you want to use. Does not spike. It will not spike your blood sugar. Okay. Also, it is weight loss friendly for people with diabetes. Again, it is an excellent alternative, and it actually shows, some studies show that it may even help absorb calcium, protecting against osteoporosis. We're also going, that's your xylitol here. This is, you guys, we need to have a class about added sugars. Mm-hmm. When you read your labels, you want to stay away from added sugars. These things are really not good, especially for cancer. And this xylitol, the best thing is to stay away from cancer, but this is a good substitute that I find. Certain cancer patients that I talk to, they said this is one of the best sugars that they like to use.
And for me,
yeah,
he doesn't have to put it in at all.
Yes,
I'm happy with the natural sweetness of the fruit.
Right. Now, soy milk. Okay, we're going to talk about soy milk. What do you hear about soy?
Not good things, and I don't really know why.
All right, so that's unfortunate. Yes. So, and I was waiting for that. So right I have here with me is an article from the American Cancer Society. And we're going to clarify the misconception that people have about soy. All right? So it says, it's just a few paragraphs. There's a lot of conflicting information going around about soy. Is it healthy? Is it dangerous? Or is it okay to eat? Some of the misunderstanding, this is from the American Cancer Society again. Some of the misunderstanding comes from the fact that studies in people and animals may show different results. In some animal studies, rodents that were exposed to high dosage there's a compound in soy called isoflavones. Okay, it says the animals that were exposed to it showed an increased risk of breast cancer. This is thought to be the cause of this actual compound, which, by the way, gives like an estrogen-like effect. Okay, so the article continues to say, but rodents process soy differently from people. Okay, so we need to keep this in mind. And then it says, and the same result have not been seen in people, however. Okay, so these studies were done in rodents. And it says also dosages of this compound in the animal studies are much higher than in humans. In fact, in human studies, the estrogen effects of soy seems either to have no effect at all, okay, or to reduce the risk of breast cancer. So there's actually, this compound actually helped reduce the risk of breast cancer in soy. So the American Cancer Society is clarifying, a lot of people's misunderstanding about soy.
It's too bad that Brad Pitt's wife didn't know about that before she cut her breasts off.
Yes.
Right?
So now listen to this. It says that soy has, here are some of the benefits, anti-inflammatory, benefits. Antioxidants, which is good against cancer, also antimicrobial. So we also find in soy potassium, which is associated with good heart health. It helps to decrease the systolic blood pressure. Vitamin B's are found in soy as well, which help to maintain your nerve levels in the DNA, as well as preventing fatigue, and it increases it optimizes your brain health, okay? Because there's a lot of omega-3s, good omega-3s in there, all right? Which are linked to reduce risk of dementia and Alzheimer's disease. Also, soy will help to improve your heart health by lowering your cholesterol. So the cholesterol, again, the LDLs are your lousy, that's how I learned it, lousy cholesterol. Your HDLs are the good ones. This helps to lower the LDLs. It decreases the risk and also it decreases the symptoms of menopause by putting into play this estrogen-like hormone that is in the soy. Also, you find in there vitamin B, vitamin A, vitamin folate, and then calcium. Again, you're getting calcium from these things. So I'm not going to go on into too much medical jargon, so we're going to use that.
Is there a certain soy milk that's better? Because all of them,
Yes, I would make sure. Here's the thing with soy: make sure you're getting soy that is organic and non-GMO. So genetically modified foods are not good, especially for cancer patients. The thing with cancer is, cancer is not something that you have to maintain cancer-free by your lifestyle. Okay.
See, I used to drink soy all the time, and I had breast cancer, and then my thyroid messed up, and they said, stop drinking soy, it's not good, it's got too much estrogen, and that's what could
anything in moderation. And then there is a level of it can sometimes interact with the thyroid. I do agree with that. I've saw the studies on that. However, again, everything in moderation. Just think of it this way,
well, they told me to drink almond milk.
Almond milk is fine. There's so many milks out there. If you go to the Tree of Life, we have almond milk. We have macadamia nut milk. We have coconut milk. We have what else? Hemp milk. We have
Cashew milk.
soy milk. We have cashew milk. We have oat milk. You basically, someone said to me a long time ago, and I don't mean to offend anyone here, but that's not even so. Only animals eat the same things every day. Humans, we need to alternate. We need to go and say, okay, well, let me have the cashew. Let me get a little bit of the almond. So because you want to have different components included in your diet.
Right.
So you're not going to sit there and just drink soy milk and soy. So
Right.
we just have to be temperate in what we do. Also, to end, we're going to use a little bit of Himalayan salt. Now, I've said in past studies that your salt, these things are important. Himalayan salt has 84 minerals in it. Now, does anybody know how many minerals you find in seawater and ocean water? About 92. Okay, so this is pretty darn close. Now, guess how many minerals table salt has in it?
Probably none.
It's been bleached.
Sodium chloride. So it's essentially you're getting a salt that has no savor in there. Okay, so we need to understand that your salts are important, right? And I always refer to the scripture. The Bible says if the salt loses its savor, it's good for nothing. That's a good analogy, because salt needs to have the right ingredient, the right minerals in there. Also remember that these kind of salts are what we call finishing salt. In other words, you don't want to, if you're making a big pot of stew, you don't put this in 2 hours before the stew is done, because it's going to destroy the minerals. The reason why we eat is to gain nutrients and minerals from the food. Okay? We don't just eat to fill our bellies because we're hungry. If you are eating and you're not getting the proper nutrients and minerals, you are malnourished. And you can be 500 pounds and still be malnourished. It simply means you're not getting the right nourishment. Okay? So make sure that you're getting the proper nourishment from your food, right? Because your food has to become your medicine, and your medicine has to be your food, okay? Also, we're gonna use a little bit of mangoes. Now, mangoes has vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin potassium. It has beta carotene, which helps with your vision. Beta carotene also, studies are showing that there is a link between the amount of beta carotene you take in and also helping people to fight with cancers, okay? Also folate, magnesium, and then of course your fiber, and it boosts your immune system because of the vitamin C's.
And
Also,
it's good, and it tastes good.
and it tastes very good, mangoes. Now, I don't know about the mangoes you get at certain stores. I'm not gonna say the names, but we get the organic, non-GMO mango. All right, some of the mangoes are around here are not very good mangoes. And also vitamin B6. So vitamin B6, is very important. All your vitamins are important. But
And
vitamin
they're important
B6,
in concert, which
Yeah.
means eating the whole fruit.
yeah.
And when did you open your shop here?
We opened up back in June, and you guys have the cards. Just stop by. We do foods. So if you have a hard time transitioning, we will help you do that safely, and our food tastes good. Just go on our Facebook page. You'll see all the comments. On our Instagram, you'll see all the comments. Now, quickly, and we're done. The B6 produces serotonin, which is a chemical that helps to regulate sleep and mood cycle. All right? And also your cardiovascular health, your gut health can be benefited by mangoes. So quickly, we're gonna go and make some mango ice cream. I don't know how y'all want to see this, but it's not gonna take long. My wife's gonna help
I think
me.
we'll just see it from our chairs. How about you? If you do,
If
somebody
you can't
does
see,
want-
you,
I'm okay.
and then we're gonna taste it.
We
I'll put my
have
mask.
old people in this room that don't like to get up and walk around.
It's all right. Next time we'll have to have something here. So my wife's gonna help me because this is her recipe. I'm just pretending that I know how to do it. I do the talking.
Yes, but he does the first thing I think I said to him, he said, "Can I fix you a chicken Waldorf salad?"
Yes.
And I said, "Chicken, no chicken." And he said, "Oh, no, not chicken, but that's one of my things. I don't want alternatives. It's hard enough to get away from all this stuff
Yes.
without having them again. Every time I look at something, there's something that I think I want."
Yeah.
But anyway.
There's
that's
good
me.
food there. And
I'm old and cantankerous.
Sometimes for people, she's been doing this a while. For people who are transitioning, sometimes we also have oat burgers that we make. It's non-toxic. We have bread now, freshly baked bread with just 5 ingredients in it: whole wheat flour, carrots, and things like that. You ought to check out the breads.
I may do that.
Yes,
Now
they're
that
heavy.
I got Carlos with me. Oil is a big thing for me too. I'm plant-based, whole food, but I'm also SOS, they call it. So I have a limited amount of sugar, oil, and salt. And in fact, I've gone to the point now with oil where I don't add any oil. Which I
Yes.
did today because I was at the Senior Citizen Center getting horribly unnutritious, if that's the word, meal. And it's too bad, there were a lot of people there. It would have been nice if we could have eaten something nutritious. Yeah. And they had the trumpet player, it was very good. I like it.
Okay,
Plus, I'm looking for a man too, so I have to watch out.
so we're going. So we're going to do 2 cups of soy milk. Okay.
Pay attention to your wife now.
Half a cup. Oh, this is my wife, Melissa. I thought you guys, if you were not here in the beginning, you didn't meet her. She's also helping me out today, and she will be at the Tree of Life. So we're gonna put a half a cup of soy milk in here. All right. By the way, we're gonna make this easy. We're gonna use the blender. We also have an ice cream maker. We're gonna show you how to do that too. And then we're going to use 2 cups of fresh organic mangoes. This is frozen, by the way. We freeze them.
And I've been doing that this recently, I've been buying sweet potatoes all cut up. I've been buying broccoli and all that kind of stuff in Walmart in that little organic bag. And I'm ready to done chopping things up. I got better things.
Okay. And then we're going to use just a little bit of xylitol, not too much.
And Carlos,
Where did you tell me that sugar came from?
Birch tree.
Birch tree.
You know birch trees in New England.
I've heard that.
In New England, we all know birch trees. Anybody else from New England? There you go.
And I didn't know sugar came from.
No, it's not, it's recent.
So this is a tofu that I'm using. It's called silken tofu. This is what we use. If you come to the Tree of Life and you have our carrot cake, our plant-based carrot cake, best cake you ever had, no added sugars, we use the silken tofu to make the icing. It's almost like a pudding. Okay, it's not your typical tofu. So we're gonna use half of that in here. This is gonna give us a nice viscous consistency for our ice cream. Then a little bit of vanilla for flavor. You guys probably all have vanilla around your kitchen, right?
I need a bigger vanilla. You get it in this little tiny
I know.
thing that costs a fortune.
That's a lot.
That's Mexican vanilla, isn't it?
Yes.
That's what
It's Mexican vanilla.
Oh, is it? What does that mean? It comes from a Mexican tree?
No, from Mexico, it's pure vanilla.
Pure vanilla. Makes things taste so much better. You can find them someplace. I got my last.
And then I'm adding a pinch of salt. Just a pinch to balance the flavors. And then my wife is gonna go over there and gonna blend it. And then we're gonna use our ice cream maker. Now this is our ice cream maker. We got this online. It's fairly simple.
I'm a Vitamix girl. Nearly killed me to pay that bill. My sister went through all that. Did you ever go to Dr. Zach?
No,
God, just let me tell you that for DAK, his husband, she's a psychiatrist, don't need that, but he's a hematologist. And my sister had been told for years she could need it. But it was this kind of line, and that kind of line, and this number, and that number, and we never did get it straight. We finally went to him. He looked at our blood work, explained exactly what was happening, gave them an infusion and all, and made all the difference of the world.
just that one time.
Yeah, but anyway, that's a good doctor, and yeah, this has all the things, all the iron and everything that you need. But if people are telling you you're low on it, you may need an infusion. And you
No.
may be losing iron through blood. My sister was losing it through her colon.
Now keep in mind that your typical ice cream is full of cholesterol. There's milk, tons of butter. I mean, it's just unhealthy. All right, these are the things that are literally clogging your arteries. So this ice cream is Fat, it's very low on fat, and it's very healthy. Okay. So
The other thing that pleased me, and I don't know the exact story behind it, but when I go to truck pass, I see all kinds of stuff. In fact, I bought some ice cream that I thought was vegan ice cream, and was made with goat's milk. Now, how about that?
And this is why if you come, we love the folks at Truck Patch. In fact, some of them come to the Tree of Life to eat. But when you come to the Tree of Life, everything is going to be plant-based.
You don't have to worry about it. Don't have to try to eat it in a dim light to try to figure out what it is. And I don't know, do you buy from one retailer? I noticed that they say Tree of Life.
I want to put it here so they can see. If you guys want to come up one at a time or whatever. Actually, I have an extension for it.
I didn't buy an ice cream maker because I'd rather not make ice cream, but I make bananas, ripe bananas, and I put a little bit of vanilla in them, and I cut them up, and I freeze them. Freeze them on a sheet, cookie sheet, then I take them all out and put them in plastic bags. And so when I would like something like ice cream, all I need to do is take my frozen bananas, take a little and then Carlos and I put our feet up and eat ice cream.
All right. If you folks want to come up and
My niece has an ice cream maker, and it's more like ice cream than mine.
this ice cream, you have to keep the inner part for 24 hours at least, 24 hours in your freezer. Okay, that's what's gonna make the ice cream. So right now, if y'all wanna come up and see one at a time, this is making the ice cream. So there's a ring of this ring that's going to circle, it's full of ice. And this is optional. You can eat it the way it comes out of the blender because it's frozen. Sometimes I add nuts in here. Sometimes I'll add like pistachios. You can do different nuts in here. You can add some mint.
And it's good for you, it's good for you, you don't have to say,
So
oh, ice
you
cream,
can-
2 more pounds.
This is it. Yeah.
That's not what's happening.
This is optional. So go ahead. You're gonna dump it. And we make this at the Tree of Life. We also, so our food is natural. Natural foods. Non-GMO natural foods. Now this is just a dessert. You've got to come for the food. So by the way, we are located. Does anybody know? Does everybody know where the state trooper's office, where they do the licensing test? We're right next door to them on Bradley Drive.
Are you close to the Single God Church?
Yes, directly across.
Okay.
Yep.
Next street.
Yep. Unit 17.
You can leave it off at the speaker.
What does it look like?
It's a little black one with a golden zipper. I don't know how much those appliances are, but it seems to me they're all very expensive. My niece left my Instapot on the stove, and it melted. So I bought another one, and I thought, now this is a 6-quart, that's 6 quarts. So when I buy a new one, I'll buy 6-quart. Well, I think my old one was 3-quart.
Now, usually
Now I got
we'll
this
let this go
huge
for
thing.
like 20 minutes, but
But anyway,
time is running out, so.
I have my cards.
Now, just think about this. This is
Anybody
very,
that wants to contact me,
very
please
helpful.
take a card.
Thank you.
And we're no hurry. We're just gonna work ourselves to pieces.
I think you gave me one, but
Oh, there you go.
yes, thank you.
Oh, wow.
Mango ice cream.
Now Carlos needs some too, you know.
Is he gonna eat it?
Yeah, he'll eat it. Carlos eats anything.
Thank you. Fancy
He's
plates
what,
here.
omnivore? So is it any good?
Delicious.
No, you won't want any more for us.
You want mine?
Chewing gum.
This is
Very good.
You can taste, you can taste the health.
Is it true, just out of curiosity, is it true that the xylitol is poison to animals?
The what?
Well, there is some conflicting studies on that. I haven't seen that, from my studies, I haven't seen any issues with the xylitol. But I'm not sure
I think
if that's.
anything that's not natural has a
Well, the only
potential.
reason I question that is my daughter's cat got a hold of a pack of gum and ate a few pieces of it,
Uh-huh.
and she called the vet, and it was gum that had xylitol in it.
Mhm.
And they said, get the cat in now, that it causes, it's deadly poison, it causes kidney failure. So I was just wondering.
Yeah, I don't know what else was in that gum too.
But I don't doubt any of that stuff, and to me, if it wasn't 100%. However, isn't morphine natural? It is. Cocaine comes from poppies, that's all plant-based. Thank you.
Everybody got ice cream?
This is yummy.
The dog, you really wanna feed the dog some? After that story? She says,
I don't think he'll eat very
Poor
much.
Carlos.
well, this is a disclaimer, if Carlos has a heart attack.
I think that by making the food and having us taste it,
Yes.
it is so helpful because
Yes.
personally for me, I cook, I have my whole life. My
Yes.
husband, I've been married 33 years. I mean, and I love to cook, but I am so overwhelmed by this whole new life. It is like I'm almost paralyzed. Not so much anymore, but when I first went grocery shopping and went for the organic and this and how am I gonna do this and what am I gonna do? It's just for me, totally goes against everything I've learned my whole life.
Right.
And I do believe a lot of what you talk about the media, and I don't work for the hospital, so I'm gonna say what I think.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that we are fed poison because the big pharma then comes right into play. And I'm not gonna get into politics about what's going on now in our country, but for me, it speaks volumes about
Right.
what I've been for my whole life. The food pyramid is a facade, it's a joke. What we've been trained to eat, what we think are good, it's reversed.
Right.
My mind tells me whatever our government says and FDA and whatnot, it's the opposite. And so this makes perfect sense to me.
That's
So
right.
why is this so hard for me to
It's-
wrap my
it's-
head
it's-
around?
yeah.
And
Well, if you come to the Tree of Life,
It
we will,
is.
if you come to the Tree of
I'm
Life,
going to.
you could come today actually.
I'm going to.
And then I'm gonna show you, you can have a burger, you can have, Patricia don't like, you can have a plant-based chicken sandwich.
And see,
You
that's
can have a
how I
panini.
want.
We have a turkey and cheese panini. We have wraps. Just come down, and then we can actually speak without any
Yeah, I know.
lids there.
I know.
So come down. We do juices. We do the fresh juices as well.
Well,
for
that's
health.
interesting because I
Want
came
some more?
to the juicing workshop here,
Mhm.
and I bought a juicer and did the celery juicing and whatnot. Well, then my husband and I went to Washington University in St. Louis for a consult with their oncology team.
Yeah.
And my husband had pancreatic cancer,
Mhm.
had the whipple.
Yeah.
So what we were told there from the medical professionals was juicing was not anything he should be doing. He
Mhm.
needs the fiber, he needs, so, do you see the
The
contradiction?
juicing is a supplement. It's not, the juice that we make, you can either have it with the fiber or without. So again,
But for the
there's
person that
there's a
is
lot-
not,
yeah, there's a lot
so
of-
much information
No,
and so much
right.
of it conflicts even with the medical
because
community.
right.
And that is very difficult for the person who's trying to survive every day.
Here's the thing, you can actually juice with the fiber. So that settles that theory. You can add the fiber to your juice. Some people want it with the fiber, some people want it straight. Okay? You're not just gonna be doing juicing alone. You're gonna be
Right,
supplementing
right,
with it
exactly.
because you get high doses of vitamins and minerals with the juices.
But
Into
what
the
I'm
bloodstream.
saying was and she's an esteemed professor at Washington University. I don't wanna use my spoon, that'll contaminate you. But she was like, absolutely not, no way,
Yeah.
and here we're there for a second opinion, right? And you get where I'm coming from.
She's been juicing for a little while. How do you feel? Since you've been juicing at the Tree of Life.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yes.
I have had maybe 4 days now that I haven't juiced because I,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, it's
Just
time
haven't-
consuming,
yeah.
it is.
and that's just celery juice and then getting other juices from their place. And yeah, you feel
It's a good thing.
really good.
And it may happen, and she was specifically talking about my husband with his pancreatic cancer, the surgery that he's had. So I'm not saying it's not good for anyone, I'm saying that
Well, a little
it's just
bit.
conflicting information.
And that's why when you come to the Tree of Life, we'll have a real conversation.
Good, okay.
Well, and I think she's concerned about the fiber,
Yeah.
Right.
but not knowing enough about it or,
And
you know,
that's
just-
what I said. Too.
Although she was a huge proponent of plant-based.
And that's what I do. That's what I'm
Huge.
saying too. Our juices, we can add the fiber right to it,
Yeah.
so you don't remove the fiber.
You know what, it's a non-issue for him, he can't stand it.
And if
Celery
you, and
juice,
if
my
and if
husband-
you're, well, it's not just celery too.
I
There's
know,
a lot of
I've
other
done
things
a lot
you
of
can
other
do.
things too, but
So-
some people can adapt, some people can't.
Right.
And you just have to, I feel like, I'm not gonna do this 100%, I'm just not. I will do 80-20.
Well, yeah, it's a.
I feel like there's balance. I'm not, my personality is all or none. That's just the way I pretty much do life, but it doesn't have to be that way. I feel like there's a good balance and everybody's
Lifestyle.
different and what works for me isn't gonna work for everyone.
Right, lifestyle.
But there has to be some kind, I just wish that this were more of, it would be more available if you did go out to eat, because let's face it, everybody goes out to eat at some point in their
I
life.
am trying to do that, that's something that I certainly can use some help on. One of the things that I want to do with some other people, and I've already talked to Colton's, I've already talked to the Mexican restaurant down there by Lowe's, and I've tested out a couple others, like the, Italian restaurant, they're too tough, I'll give up on them, everything's cheese, everything. But that's one of my goals, is to get places in town, and
Wow, that's good.
the foundation that I'm working with is going to help us, and they require, which, he's going to become, which they require a section on the menu that says what you offer for whole food, plant-based, and then you offer it on the menu, and you have it available, and once they test you out, then you become certified, a certified eating place, and I'm working on that in town. Anybody that wants help is good, but that's one of the things, and of course, it's Christmas and everything's going on, there's not much I can do right now, but that is one of my goals, and including the hospital cafeteria. and the senior citizens.
One of the highest time period for hospitalizations into the ER with cardiac issues is Christmas and Thanksgiving. There's a reason for that.
And probably New Year's make up from
That
Thanksgiving.
doesn't happen
and
by
Christmas.
chance, but come to the Tree of Life where we will show you how to do it. What we do is we take the theory, my tongue is frozen, and translate it to the practical. So,
Excellent.
thank you everyone.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
we appreciate you guys.
And I must say one more thing.
Brain freeze.
They are very, very busy at the Tree of Life. And you might want to call ahead and say, I can come down, what would be a good time for you? Maybe in the morning or something. Because when I went down there, he took me right out of the store, took me next door, and set me down in a nice little classroom that he has there. He gives classes and talked. And what are your classes on?
Different things like nutritional approaches to diabetes, health, blood pressure, nutritional approaches. And sometimes we have to turn people away because we have hundreds of people sign up. Like, you gotta come to the Tree of Life and see, what's happening there. There's a lot of people in Mountain Home that go there and they eat there, and it's a big support system for people like you. People who are trying to get help.
You can eat there too?
Yes, you can sit down and
They
eat.
have a little
I didn't
room.
know
There's a little room where you
I
can eat.
thought you were health foods. I didn't know about you until just the other day.
Yeah, you can eat. Just go on our Facebook page or on Instagram. You'll see tons of people that you may know sitting down and eating.
Oh,
In
yeah.
fact, I'm not going to say names, but we have quite a few doctors who go there to eat.
Oh,
from
what are
Baxter
your
Hospital.
hours?
So we're open Monday through Thursday from 9 to 7. And then Fridays we're open until, we're open from 9 to 3, 9 to 2, 9 to 3. And then Saturdays we're closed, and then Sunday we're open 10 a.m. until 3. So,
9 till 3, just about all the time though.
no,
I mean-
no, 9 to 7, Monday through Thursday.
Okay.
And then Friday's a different schedule, Sunday's a different schedule. But
Would you share with them your overall goal for this area? He came from New York.
yeah.
That'll tell you something. But anyway,
Well, basically our goal is to educate the community on healthy eating. You don't have to be a rocket science to look down 62. And when I moved here, I could find a place to eat. I'm sorry. I don't want to eat your GMO burgers. I don't want to eat the foods that's being served. And so we set out to open up something where people can actually come and not have to worry about getting sick. I mean, I've literally drove by certain restaurants and see ambulances in front of them because folks have had heart attacks and different things like that, But believe it or not, what you eat will determine the outcome of your health. And I say to people, there's a young lady who says, well, avocados are expensive. I said, no, it's not. A $200,000 hospital bill is expensive.
And it
See,
doesn't really mean that you won't go to the hospital,
Right.
because you know what? I'm gonna die one of these days.
right.
I really think I will. And it may be a heart attack, but that's okay, because I've gotta die from something,
It
right?
can still happen, yes.
And so it's not gonna necessarily 100% prevent all this stuff.
Right. Well,
You know that.
we don't teach that. We don't advocate that. But you have a much better chance. Even studies are showing, even with COVID-19, plant-based eaters have a better chance at fighting it. I typically will say this, right? As it relates to the things that you eat, an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. I mean, if you want to think about that, okay. So our approach to health in the United States is curative. That's the wrong approach. Our approach must be preventative. In fact, what's that article they came out with? Healthy People 2020. That's the focus. That we need to focus more on prevention. This is why we have a healthcare system that is on the brink of collapsing right now.
Yeah, overloaded.
Okay, it's overloaded. People are going to the hospitals for things that can be to some degree prevented with our lifestyle. Again, so think about prevention rather than curing. Okay?
Do you have any other specific questions? And I have to keep my mouth shut.
Yes.
I'm an emergency nurse, and I'm a damn good one. I really am. But it makes me a little loud sometimes. And it makes it a little difficult to stay in one place. I don't know what point you wanted us to finish up,
Yeah,
You're
we're done.
fine, you're
but we're
fine.
done.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
done.
Okay.
And you have a
Oh, she has a
question?
question here.
I don't have a question, but I think all of this is pretty much how I learned to live. When I was 9 years old, I had a lung removed. So when you're
Wow.
a kid like that, and you have something that dramatic, you learn to take more responsibility of your body
Yes.
and less just thinking, hey, it's arms and legs and it gets me where I want. And so I learned that early on, and my mother helped me. And I've never died in my life, and I'm not overweight now, and I don't ever intend to be. But I have reasons not to get there. And I've seen them in my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, and how they lost 100 pounds,
Yeah.
and all kinds of medicines they quit taking just because they lost weight.
Mhm.
But I think we need to start up here.
Yes.
It's in the head.
Yes.
What do you have for breakfast? Who cares what you have for breakfast? If I want to eat tomatoes and mango fruit for breakfast, okay. If I want to eat oatmeal for breakfast, if I want to eat lettuce salad for breakfast,
Mhm.
why does it matter? We get in these ruts because we grow up with these things and think,
Yes.
this is for supper, this is for
Yeah.
lunch, this is for
Very,
breakfast.
very good point.
This is for snack. And I keep my refrigerator with veggies in it. I had somebody call me up on the phone one day and said, well, would you like to know how to eat better? And I said, would you like to see what's in my refrigerator?
Mm-hmm.
And so I named 7 vegetables right then. They said, oh, I said, goodbye. I don't know what they were trying to sell me, but I didn't wait. And I just found out recently that I probably fall into the category of pescatarian. I'm not a
Right.
vegetarian, I'm not a vegan, I'm probably a pescatarian.
Right.
Because I do eat fish and I do eat some eggs. So it's all broken down into little labels, but it's what you think in your head. You get locked into these ideals that only certain things can fit with certain things, and only other things can be eaten at certain times of the day. So if you're hungry and you reach in and grab a chunk of mango or half a baby cucumber, is better than a fistful of crackers.
Yeah, you have to be open-minded. You know, you have to be open-minded, and you have to be willing to try different things, right? You can't be stuck in just being, I gotta have this, I gotta have that. And what we do at the Tree of Life, we make it taste good. That's what we specialize in. We use good seasoning, garlic, right? Onions, right? Fresh parsley, fresh cilantro, good herbs in the food, fresh greens, right? And you're gonna be like, wow, this is really good.
Yeah. And he takes it easy on you, and
Yes.
they pick out things knowing that you're new to it.
Yes.
Okay, try this. And so you're kind of really surprised. He's surprised me a lot by, I'm like, I've never had tofu, didn't know that was tofu, but it was really good, and it tasted, I come back and I let the volunteers try different things that I get. So no, we're very, very thankful that you're here in town, that we have some places to go that are starting to try and do this and work on our health. And so appreciative of your contribution to the Pikes Cancer Support House, and thank you all so very much for being here. We'll keep you, informed of new groups and sessions coming up for the new year, and hope that you can stay in touch and stay in tune with us.
And I also want to thank my wife for helping out.
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
We've got 3 children at home.
Thank you all so much, and have a Merry Christmas.